Well, we survived a hurricane. We may not survive the earthquake that we're about to get. Sad. What are you on about? No, as I said, we survived the hurricane.
We begin customarily prior to the beginning of time. That's an element of the tradition. We're returning to the Ashrei on page 431 in the Master. The prayer books are in the requests. We're beginning a minute early because that is traditional. And we're beginning with the Ashrei, which is the mincha leading into the actual community service. We're beginning on page 431 with the quick simple. And we'll put the lead on at just a little before the
Number 5.
It's showing. Is introducing us to Yom Kippur, unless we have Yashanu on 438 and Yalkeh on 439. And these prayers are offered in silence, although it's not yet Yom Kippur because we're getting geared up for Yom Kippur.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Ha'nora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imot, U'mevidu El Livnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo V'Yahava. Zoreinu Elchaim, Menachis B'chaim, V'chomeinu B'sefer HaChaim, Leman Elohim Chaim. Melech Ozer Boker Koshiyanim, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham u'Magen Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, V'na'ei Beitim B'terem L'Oshia. Mechalkel Chaim B'chesed, Mechayei Beitim B'rachamim Rabim. Som Melech Noflim V'rofeh Olim, U'matir Asurim. U'mekayem Emunato L'Shenei Afar. Mikamo Kavod Gevurot, Baruch atah Adonai, HaMelech HaKadosh.
In a moment, when we were reciting the Kiddush Shalom full Kaddish 441, just a reminder, if you do not yet have a chance to light Shabbos and Yom Kippur candles, you're invited to light Shabbos and Yom Kippur candles in the foyer. It's a twofer. So we say, Asher Kitron Mitzvah B'Tzvah L'Gershel Shabbat V'Shel Yom HaKippurim. The form there in Yom Kippur is Yom Kippurim, and it's there in the Hebrew, the English, and the transliteration on those tables, placard. So if you haven't lit candles, you're invited to light candles. You just go strike the match. If you light them, you wave your eyes. So what you're doing is you're inviting the light into your eyes while you're simultaneously covering your eyes. And you can mold it. What does it mean to bring light into your eyes if your eyes are closed? You say, aha. So I have Kindle candles. You're invited to light candles here. Kaddish Shalom is on page 441. Please rise and lay on page 442. The only concluding minutes of the day before Yom Kippur. Straightforward service it's unadorned, it's 3 prayers, it's the Ashrei, the Amida, the Elenu, the Kaddish, and that's it. Every service, whether simple, brief, concise, or the most elaborate of all, to be seen tonight and tomorrow, always ends with words of shalom. And that's the frame. And that's what we need to take into this next year. That every time Jewish people come together, the first thought is, in the context that we are saying prayers, we're always praying for world peace. Let that be in every single brain cell that we have. And let that go out from every one of our mouths to the entire world with whom we contact. Let everyone know that anytime Jewish people gather in prayer, the very last sentence is always a prayer for shalom. And now more than ever, that is critical to disseminate as a message. So we're now turning to page 202, which is the preliminary introduction, you might say, to Nidre on page 202. It's customary for those who wear a talit to say the blessing, putting the talit on together. The talit is a garment whereby we focus our attention. We focus our attention by looking not at the main garment itself. Oh, how pretty this is. Oh, what a lovely fabric. Gosh, how many threads per square inch. That's not what the Jews look at. When Jewish people put on a garment, they look at the edge. They look at the periphery. Some small strings hanging down out to the edge. Because there's always somebody else up to the edge. And the way Jewish people begin a collective experience of getting dressed, you might say, for prayer, is by thinking, who's not here? And how do we reach out to someone? That's the purpose of Lahit Teif. Lahit Teif, Tzitzi. It's on page 202. Asher Kishana B'mitzvotav B'tzivanu Lahit Teif Tzitzi. And now on page 204, the Yeshiva Shalmala, this is the introduction to the Koludre. So you're interested here on page 204. It's at the very bottom of the page. It's the Yeshiva Shalmala, which is the introduction to the Koludre. And in a moment, we'll be asking those who are going to be honored with holding the Sefer Torah to step forward to the beam in just a moment when we turn to page 205 for the Koludre. Yeshiva Shalom on page 204.
V'yeshiva shel malach, u'v'yeshiva shel mata, al dat hamakom, ve'al dat hakal, anu matirin leitpalel, im ha'avaryonim, v'yeshiva shel malach, v'yeshiva shel mata, al dat hamakom ve'al dat hakal, anu matirin leitpalel, im ha'avaryonim. V'yeshiva shel malach, u'v'yeshiva shel mata, al dat hamakom ve'al dat hakal, anu matirin leitpalel, im ha'avaryonim.
The room is opened on page 205. The room is opened. Those honored with holding Sefer Torah rise to the beam at this time on page 205 will begin in just a moment when it read. Ready on? The Holocaust story from Czechoslovakia. Where is he? We thank Esther Worthington and Elizabeth Weaver joining us this evening. We had a great deal to our worship, and we're thankful. Thank you very much for joining us in this special evening. Thank you. A story from the Talmud. When a baby is in the womb, God teaches the baby all of Torah, all knowledge, the veritable secrets of the universe. When the baby is born, exiting the mother, an angel comes and teaches the baby right here. And all the learning evaporates and is forgotten. And my thought is, that's why the baby cries. Because all the learning has disappeared. If we peer into this story, we see God differently than how we conventionally view God as God, the creator of the vastness of the universe. And we can picture God as the creator of one baby at a time, watching over the baby, helping it to grow and flourish, accompanying it step by gradual step, from zygote to embryo, to fetus, to baby. And along the way, ensuring that he or she develops an intellect and gains spiritual insight and religious sensibilities. And at the critical moment of transition from the extraordinary privacy of intimate closeness with God, a healthy curiosity to mark its entry into a loud, noisy, bright, confusing, stimuli-filled world. Curiosity is God's private gift to every baby. Teaching and nurturing are God's primary roles. And along that way, during metamorphosis, we see God as intimate and private, a personal tutor filled with hope that this protege continues a lifelong quest for Torah. God is not only the creator of quasars and galaxies. God is the shepherd of one child into the world every moment simultaneously with all other babies taking their first breath. Doesn't that just fill us with a sense of wonder? This is God's primary job, over and above building the universe. And every time you or I brush our teeth or wipe our face with a napkin or happen to touch this impression here above our lips, we confront the fingerprint of an angel imprinted on our faces, and we call to mind that our bodies possess the mark of an angel. The simultaneous disappointment over the loss of Torah and the indicator of the opportunity of retrieving that learning. It's a mystical coin toss, you might say, the loss of knowledge versus an unforgettable motivator to retrieve that knowledge. It recently occurred to me, as I was contemplating God's fashioning of each and every one of you, each and every one of you when you're a baby, that God has been fashioning each and every one of us, those loved ones who are gone, those loved ones here in this room, those loved ones yet to be. God has gently been fashioning each and every one with unique, loving precision of the author of infinity. As much as God is carefully constructing every neural pathway, every cell, every chemical reaction within billions of your nuclei, God is also whispering in your ears and in my ears, seek peace and pursue it. Do justice, love kindness, walk humbly with your God. The beauty of life is to live with compassion and respect. Choose life. Love your neighbor as yourself. God is whispering into your ears. If you someday are a merchant, don't cheat people when you have your scales. God's whispering into your ears, respect Shabbat and keep it holy, because time on earth is limited. And if you rush about and think of Saturday as a day of errands, you cheat yourself of reflecting creation with God as your partner. And God whispers and says, someday you might be an accountant or an entrepreneur. Ensure your books are accurate and legitimate. To artists, God whispers, give bold expression to your creativity. As a writer, do not plagiarize, and on and on. Every whisper becomes molded into your soul. Eventually, we are born. The only indication of our initial contact with God is the impression above our lips, but the contact is lifelong, and the whisper remains within us if only we attend to our unique God whisper, which is woven into each of us. In a way, the groundwork of who you are has been set, which is why some of you are writers, doctors, artists, musicians, engineers, analysts, builders, philosophers, athletes, some exceptional cooks, some devoted preschool teachers and babysitters, some exceptional family organizers. But more importantly than what we do for work or vocation, the God whisper placed within each of us, to some, be kind and patient. To others, be strong of mind and independent. To others, be compassionate, flexible. Be opinionated and headstrong. With conviction, stand up for a cause. With gentleness, support the forgotten. With humor, uplift those whose spirits are fallen. With empathy, understand the weepers. With courage, march along by the side of the marginalized and the abused, defending them, for you are the only defense. Because of who you are, each one of you who you are, you're still hearing the whisper of God, the echo of God's voice to you when you were in utero. I've been mulling over the splendid miracle of each of you. And a question comes to my mind. If I had one question to ask of God, what would it be? And on many occasions I posed that question to myself. What would I ask of God? Why is there so much suffering? Why is there so much loss? Why does freedom of will so often turn into hate and racism, bigotry, and cruelty? Why do we fail to learn from our mistakes? But this year, the year is 5,785. And I shared with you in Rosh Hashanah that the number of this year can be interpreted through the terminology of the alphabet Tish Peh, which means to plane. And if you work with wood in a workshop and you have a plank or a beam, you plane it smooth. Why? So that it can fit next to the next plank. You can have a perfect joint. You can build shelving or furniture, and furthermore, when somebody comes by and touches it, he or she won't get a splinter because of the quality that you've placed by planing something smooth. That's the number 5785, to plane it smooth, to make every day flush and fit well together within the entire year. The year itself is confident that each of you, all of us, will plane the entire year smooth so that nobody we interact with for the next year will get a splinter from our personal conduct. No hurt of any type. So this year, if I had one question to pose as I mull over the splendid miracle of each of you, I would request, God, can you please show me how you fashion a soul? Please show me how you create the most fragile and the most resilient and invulnerable quality and quantity within the known universe and beyond. For my limited mind cannot begin to understand such a feat. I would imagine that if I were granted this request, I would be bowled over beyond all description because of the beauty, the complexity, the worth of each one of you, of each one of all of us. And I would come to understand why life is so important. And I would understand why it is your and my mission to go out to the world as emissaries of mitzvot and mitzvahkeit, to stand up for the helpless and vulnerable, to defend Israel, and to simultaneously love all humanity, to donate tzedakah of time, money, heart, to visit the lonely and to stand quietly and attentively by the one who weeps, to try to be calm when someone in the room is just driving you crazy. You may have never considered it, but this may be the very reason for which you were born. And now on Holy Day, you have your reason to rebuild your soul, one apology at a time, between a neighbor, a relative, a coworker, a friend, between yourself and the silent one who knows you better than anyone. And now on Holy Day, 5785, the year which you will make smooth. You have a renewed momentum to beautify your soul with sincere prayer, to commit to educate your soul through Jewish learning in the upcoming year, to strengthen your soul by strengthening your bonds with Jews whom you do not know very well, but are in this very room, to illuminate your soul by lighting Shabbat candles at home, to enrich your soul by taking a little bit of your money and sharing that through tzedakah with Israel, with people struck by hurricanes Helene and Milton, to bring a smile to your soul by sharing laughter with someone who has few visitors, to deepen your soul by listening to someone who is in need of support. For this may be the very reason for which you were born. This is the reason for which you were born. This is the reason for which you live. And remember, it's Shabbos. And so we turn in the Machzor to page 206. The Mizmor, the Psalm for Shabbat. To speak of your love each morning and your faithfulness at night, to the music of the lute and the melody of the harp. Your creation, Adonai, gives me joy. I sing of your handiwork. How vast your works, Adonai, how intricate your designs. The thoughtless cannot comprehend, foolish cannot fathom this. The wicked flourish like grass, those who commit evil blossom, only the strong are men. But you, Adonai, are supreme forever. Surely your enemies, Adonai, surely your enemies shall perish. Those who commit evil shall crumble. You will raise my head high like the horn of the ox, anointing me with fragrant oil. Were enemies to gather against me, my days will remain steady. From ear to ear, the righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. They shall endure like a cedar in Lebanon, transplanted in the house of Adonai, thriving in God's courtyard. In old age they are yet fruitful, always fresh and fragrant, proclaiming that Adonai is flawless, and stronghold never unjust. Tzaddik Tamar in the red transliteration, also on the Hebrew side of the upper part of the bottom of its mizmor. It's the last four lines in the red arrow. Tzaddik Tamar from.
Tzaddik Tamar
Adonai is sovereign, clothed in splendor, girded in strength. Surely the earth stands firm and will not be shaken. Your kingdom stands from earliest time. You are eternal. Rivers rise to you, Adonai. Rivers raise their voices. Rivers raise up their waves. From the roaring of the deep and the mighty breakers of the sea, Adonai is supreme. Your teaching, Adonai, never fails. Holiness befits your house, Adonai, until the end of time. We rise, page 207. Oracle. On page 207, in the left margin, in the English passage together, beloved are you, eternal God, by whose design the evening falls, by whose command dimensions open up, and eons pass away, and stars spin in their orbits. You set the rhythms of day and night, the alternation of light and darkness sings your creating word. In rising sun and in spreading dusk, creator of all, you are made manifest. Eternal, everlasting God, will you always be aware of your dominion. Beloved are you, Adonai, for this hour of nightfall. On page 208, it's the first stanza. You love your people, the house of Israel, with infinite love. You taught us Torah and mitzvot, statutes and laws. Therefore, Adonai, our God, as we lie down and rise up, we shall think of your laws and speak of them, rejoicing in your words of Torah and your mitzvot forever and ever. For they are our life and the fullness of our days, and on them we will meditate day and night. May you never withdraw your love from us, for Ruth Adonai, who loves the people of Israel. On page 210, in the left-hand margin of three little stanzas prior to the hotel. Hope of Israel, in our weakness, give us strength. In our blindness, be our guide. When we falter, hold our hand. Makes consistent our impulses for good. Let us know the joy of walking in your ways. As the children of Israel once were able to at the sea, when we sing like them, me is the local name, who is like you among gods. It's not seeking committability that we sleep for a while this evening with peace, with a sense of calm. We're saying, you must. You, oh God, we've been through too much together. You must make sure that we go to sleep tonight with a sense of peace and calm this evening, so that we arise tomorrow with a sense of peace and calm. But you and I cannot live in our lives, in our world, only thinking of our own needs. We have to think of the needs of others. And so when we say Ashkivenu, we're saying, God, you cannot let other people go to sleep this evening with a sense of fear or trepidation or anxiety or distress. That's what Ashkivenu is all about. Together. Hashkivenu Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully and to awaken again to life, our sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us, remove from us enemies and pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. And remove evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you are the sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us and over all the people of Israel and over Jerusalem.
Let
In the local rise for first thought, if you look at page 213, this is the silent prayer, and it follows the traditional form. Throughout the entire year, the traditional blessing, at the very beginning of the Amidah, is praising God, prayer coming forth from the family. Because who would we be? We didn't have ancestors. We'd be floating adrift. And many of us have differing stories in our own lives about our ancestors. And yes, I know there are challenges, which might be why this blessing, which speaks of ancestors, also starts off speaking of Abraham and Sarah, Isaac, Rebekah, Jacob, Rachel, and Leah. Because if within our own families there's tension, we can go back further and say, I have a connection to those ancestors. And on page second bottom, page 214, this is called Ruot, which means God's care. And then at the very bottom, it goes to 214 to 215, this is holiness. And then if you're looking at page 217, the fifth blessing, the restoration of Zion, that's a fancy way of saying we all want to have a home. For 2,000 years, Jewish people have been praying someday we're going to have a home. And since 1948, it's been real. It's challenged. And we want to have a home. And you and I know how important it is to continue work to build that home. And then the sixth blessing on 217 speaks of generally blessing of gratitude. And here it is on page 218. This is the official concluding prayer of the Amidah. It's a prayer for peace. Because we cannot have a private prayer without thinking about the entire world. And that's the traditional form, except for Yom Kippur, because now you see Vidui, and this is the silent portion, this includes the Hashamu and the Altay, that you and I cannot stand in good conscience in front of God, seeking Baruch Shalom between ourselves and the one and only, if we haven't yet prayed for the peace of the world. And that's why Sim Shalom Shalom Rav, the son of Bracha, is there before the Vidui. And now you're doing theology the entire semester in 12 seconds. And thereafter, the Amidah continues in silence, concluded on page 221. A time for personal prayer, if so able, we rise to moments of silent prayer. It's a pleasure to welcome Dr. Katie Webster, President of our synagogue, to the podium.
Good evening. Can y'all hear me? On behalf of myself and our board of directors, it is my pleasure to welcome our members and guests to our beautiful Ahavas Chesed Synagogue for this solemn and special Kol Nidre service. Yom Kippur is a holy day of awe and a day of awesome hope. As president of the synagogue, it is easy to be overwhelmingly busy with a broad array of urgent needs like finding water leaks, choosing the color and brightness of light bulbs, deciding if 20-year-old bank statements need to be retained or shredded. What is truly important is that we are a small but close Jewish community. What we have is made possible by about 80 families who commit their time and resources to perpetuate a thing that is more special than words can convey. It is a delicate balance of transition from generation to generation. We support life events, community outreach, and community inreach. So yes, we have to pay the bills, provide for security of our members when they are here, maintain the facility. Please don't forget that the Yom Kippur appeal is how we bridge the gap from between the member dues and our overhead. Without your generous contributions, we can't keep the doors open. Thank you for your Yom Kippur pledge for all the years past, and thank you in advance for your pledge for this year, 5,785. The year 5,784 was a year of challenge and transition. Some of the highlights for our synagogue: we added several new members to our board of directors: Tom Hegel, Johnny Miller, Michelle Musgrove, and Nathan Starr. Thank you to all of our board members. Please reach out to any of us directly at any time. We are your representatives. You may know Robin Morrow, who has returned to the synagogue office. Robin has been instrumental in continuing to increase our use of Shul Cloud, improve the synagogue records and office administration. Our religious school has gotten off to a very good start. In addition to the rabbi, we have 2 trained educators on staff, and Seth Polanski and Melissa Sherman. We are very grateful to them and appreciate the work they do to educate our children. As a synagogue, we participated in many community events this past year, but very significantly, we joined with the Springfield Avenue Temple of Chabad and Louisville Area Jewish Federation to host the first and very successful and long overdue honors banquet last spring, where we expressed our gratitude to Bert Meisler of blessed memory, Arlene Mitchell, and Abe Mitchell for their long-standing commitment to the synagogue and for their many contributions to our community. You have to have noticed the new furniture, flooring, paint, wallpaper in our synagogue foyer, chapel, sanctuary, and education wing. This has been an enormous project and was made possible by the generous efforts of the Sisterhood Beautification Committee. Our compliments to them for a job well done and sincere thanks. My vision for the year 5,785 includes a short list of goals. The synagogue office will continue its adoption of features of Shul Cloud, updating member information and automating administrative functions. The religious school will be adding a new class for our 4-year-old children. We will continue to be involved in community events and are forming a social action committee. If you have suggestions or would like to be involved, please reach out to Urban Grotsky or me. Participation in this kind of activity is much needed, appreciated, and personally very gratifying. I encourage you all to become involved. Work should begin soon on our exterior repairs and renovations. The project scope includes gutters, fascia, and siding. Finally, I want to create opportunities for our next generation to become involved. Ahavas Chesed is their synagogue. I love you, my Jewish community, and wish for you a sweet new year. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you very much. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Sisterhood Beautification efforts. Shul is just sparkling in so many different ways. It's really exciting to enter our beautiful new updated building. We turn now to page 222. Page 223, we can hold the phrase that Katie shared, the year of hope. That is what we seek. That is what we must do our part to bring into fruition. The year of hope. And here, in a way, the opening theme of Ya'aleh on page 223 puts forth that voice as well. May this be a year of hope. On page 224, for a moment, consider the left marginal column, just a moment of silence. The left side, 224, that strange night, one moment. 224, the left English and silence. Past trembles within the present. Hanshamoah, the top two lines, 225. A poem from Israel collected from efforts of poets in response to and after October 7th. And the name of this poem is Hope by Iris Eliot Cohen. If there is one righteous person in Gaza, it's certainly a woman, a mother or sister with a beating heart in her chest. And in the midst of all the destruction, amidst the ruins, and within the captivity of hatred, she gathers a child, son of the enemy, softly whispers some words, gives him a drink of milk and a morsel of bread, as if he were her son. If there is one righteous person in Gaza, it is most certainly a woman. On page 226, it's by Ahavas, about 6 lines up from the bottom of the page, by Ahavas introducing the 13 attributes. On page 227 on the English side, the last 3 stanzas on page 227 on the English side, as glass in the hand of a glazier who shakes or melts it at will, so are we in your hand, part habeit vial tefen vayetzer, his claw in the hand of the draper who drapes or twists it at will. So are we in your hand, righteous God. Recall your covenant, do not heed the accuser. La brit habeit vial tefen vayetzer, as silver in the hand of the smelter, who alloys or refines it at will. So are we in your hand, healer of wounds. Recall your covenant, do not heed the accuser. La brit habeit vial tefen la vayetzer. On page 229, the second English stanza introducing us to the Vayavor, the second English stanza prior to the Hebrew Vayavor. God, you taught us how to recite the 13 attributes of your name. Remember the promise implied in these 13 attributes, which you first revealed to Moses, the humble one, as it is written, God descended in a cloud and stood beside him, and he called the name Adonai. On page 232 of the English site at the bottom, responsibly, on page 232, prior to the Shema Kolenu, page 232 of the English responsibly. Listen to our prayers, God. Hear our pleading, our sorrow-filled voices. May your ear hear and your eyes open to the prayers of your servants, the people of Israel. May you forgive your people who have sinned against you. Salvation is Adonai's alone. Pour blessings on your people forever. Blessed is the one who trusts in you, Adonai, Tzvaot. Please forgive his people's sin, just as you are always forgiven his people. From time the Exodus in Egypt until now. And Moses recited this prayer in Israel's glory. Adonai said, I forgive as you ask. Now you're Adonai, Salati Kivarecha. On page 233, the ark is open, Israel able to are invited to rise. The Shema Kolenu on page 233. In English responding to our Chazan's Hebrew.
Shema Kolenu Adonai Eloheinu, Chus Rachem Aleinu, V'kol Rachamim V'ratzon Et Tefillatenu.
God's word.
אל תשליכנו מלפניך, ברוח קודשך, אל תיקח ממנו.
Do not cast us away from you. Take not your holy presence from us.
אל תשליכנו לעת זקנה, ככלות כוחנו, אל תעזבנו.
Do not cast us away with your old. Do not desert us as our energy waits. The ark is closed. Kiano Mecha, please remain standing. Toledo on page 234. Kiano Mecha.
Eloheinu 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 Eloheinu, Salah Lanu Machalanu Kavelanu, Ki Anu Amecha Be'ata Eloheinu, Anu Amecha Be'ata Abinu, Anu Amecha Be'ata Adonenu,
Shamnu, page 235, on top of the page.
Awaken my soul, awaken my soul. Ay, 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 ay,
The upper left corner of 235, a small stanza entitled "We Betray." It's a commentary on the Shamnu. When we sin, we betray our true selves. When we repent, we rediscover the purity of our souls and find once again that God dwells within us. As the 20th century Jewish thinker Rabbi Joseph bears salacious remarked, it is because we ourselves are God's temple that repentance and forgiveness are possible. The Yeshamnu is in the suffix nu, which is from enough, which means we, us, all of us. We say the Yeshamnu 7 more times, starting tomorrow, throughout all day long tomorrow, total of 9 times. And here on page 237, we have a passage known as the Al-Fate. We say 8 Al-Fates and 9 Yeshamnus over the course of Yom Kippur. Al-Fate means for missing the mark that we've all done together. And the sensitivity of this prayer, which goes back hundreds of years, is that we're all in our lives together. No one person is singled out for what he or she or what they may have done. The prayer book says we all stand together. We all live amidst the community, and each one in his or her own private thoughts reflects upon what they may have done over the past year that needs to be corrected, but we're all standing together. And in fact, our body posture is lending to support to what you and I are thinking about, reflecting upon during prayer. That's the purpose of the Al-Tay. Beginning on page 237, a little bit aloud, a little bit in silence. About 237 to the top of 238 on the English side, the first series of stanzas. We have sinned against you through denial and deceit, and we have sinned against you by taking bribes. We have sinned against you by clever cynicism, and we have sinned against you by speaking ill of others. We have sinned against you by the way we do business. We have sinned against you in our eating and drinking. We have sinned against you by greed and excessive interest. We have sinned against you through arrogance. We have sinned against you in everyday conversation. We have sinned against you through conspiratorial glances. We have sinned against you through condescension. We have sinned against you through stubbornness. For all of these sins, forgiving God, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement. On page 240, you see a stanza on the English side. It stands bet, and it begins in English, and there's red transliteration. Hu Yanenu means, may God answer us. And we shall recite the English together in the middle of page 240, and Chazal shall respond with Hu Yanenu, which means, may God answer us. Indeed, God will answer us. Middle of page 240. May the one who answered Sarah pass the time of her youth. Abraham on Mount Moriah. Isaac and his son bound on the altar. Rebekah as her son struggled within her. Jacob at Bethel. Leah in her loneliness. Rachel desperate for a child. Joseph abandoned in prison. The Hebrew midwives as they stood at the birthing place. Yocheved having faith on the bank of the Nile. The people of Israel on the shores of the sea. Moses standing on the slopes of Sinai. Miriam with her well of water. Aaron offering incense to God. Phinehas seeking his place above the crowd. The daughters of Zelophehad standing their ground. Those who are righteous, upright, decent, and compassionate, answer us. On page 245, Kaddish Shalem. It won't be Elaine, so you are welcome to remain standing because it won't be Elaine. Now, Kaddish Shalem is on page 245. Amen. mark a calendar. Our synagogue is a calendar that, to my knowledge, has been maintained for potentially its entire life, which is 130 years now. And the calendar is remembering the yard sites of our loved ones who have died every single week, and we've maintained that record. And we mark the following yard sites at this occasion for this Shabbat and this week, remembering with love I, Harry Brook, Devorah Mary Yablonsky, Esther Novoselsky, Hyman Bronstein, Sylvia Goldberg, Yetta Lee, Eva Davidoff, Millie Rosenblatt, Max Mishkin, Maurice Chasson, Jacob Perlman, Irving Spindle, Mary W. Hoffman, Mayor Mitchell, Michael Bronstein, Samuel Prince, Robert Handbaker, Yetta Sadowski, Norman Jett, Clifford Caslow, Benny Lips. We remember Helen Miller, Selma Buckstein, Nancy Campbell Weaver. We remember all of the people taken from all of Israel during the wicked attacks on October 7th. We remember the members of the IDF who have been protecting and fighting and safeguarding Israel, it's a civilian army, for the past year. Any other names to mention this evening? Perhaps somebody at home has a name to share as well. Conscious on page 247. Yitzgadal, Yitzgadal, Shemei, Rabbo, Amen, Ve'olam, Divorah, Chirutei, V'yamrith, Malchutei, Uchayecho, V'yomecho, Uchaye, V'dachom, V'yisrael, B'hagalah, V'zman, Kariv, V'imru, Amen. Yehei, Shmei, Rabba, Milrach, Le'olam, Le'olei, Onayah, Yitvarach, V'yisharach, V'yitvar, V'yitvarach, V'yitnaseh, V'yithagar, V'yithaleh, V'yithamal, Shnei, V'yishar, V'yithakur, Le'ela, Le'ela, Mikol, Birchata, V'shirata, Tushkata, L'nechmata, Da'amiran, V'Allah, V'Imru, Amen. Yehei, Shalom, Rabba, Yishmaya, V'chayim, Aleinu, Ya'achol, Yisrael, V'Imru, Amen. Oseh, Shalom, V'Rama, Lo Ya'aseh, Shalom, Aleinu, Ya'achol, Yisrael, V'Imru, Amen. And as we're seated, you remember that what you just prayed for is shalom. And there's nothing more important except love. So we, all of us, embrace the opportunity to share love and our prayers for hope and peace every single day in the year ahead. And we now turn to page 248. On the top of the English side, the first three stanzas in the English side, and then Ahavas Chesed found in the little red transliteration, also found across the page in the bold print, Ahavas Chesed, the top of page 248 in the English, first in the Ahavas Chesed. Adonai is my light and my help, whom shall I fear? Adonai is the stronghold of my life, whom shall I dread? When evil people assail me to devour my flesh, it is they, my enemies, and those who besiege me, who stumble and fall. Should harm camp array against me, my heart will show no fear. Should they war against me, of this I would be sure. One thing I ask of Adonai, this I seek, to dwell in the house of God all days of my life, to behold God's beauty, to visit God's sanctuary.
Adonai
on page 250, but including him, the adult, page 250. I'm excited to welcome some new people. Some of us know each other and some don't, but we're excited. Got Scott Kramer, a good friend from Montgomery, is joining us here. For you people who are excited, thank you for joining us. Get a chance to visit the shoes and catch up. And Sonia Malcolm has recently relocated to Mobile. We know you, but it's good to have you in the community. And Joseph and his mom, Kay Metz, are visiting here. So if you haven't met yet, join and Samantha in the community. So please, as we're walking around, just say hello, say hello, and introduce yourself to somebody new. That's how we enrich our community. When you step outside, you see a little art expo, and the pieces that are framed are artwork by Israeli women participated in an art expo in response to October 7th. And then there's a piece separate on a table, and it's brightly colored. And you can take a little sheet, and it's a website. And if you make a donation, you can select one of, there are almost 90 gorgeous pictures on this website. And the gorgeous, bright pictures on this website are to remind us of what the beauty was like before October 7th. We want to build up and remember beauty and love. You get a picture, and you make a donation, people need, and that's explained on this handout that you may take with you on that little table next to the brightly colored picture in the hallway. May each of you and all of you new loved ones be inscribed, signed, and sealed for love and good health, happiness. May your entire family and all your friends be surrounded by shalom. May you have a sweet new year. Shalom.